You might remember on the test we took, the free response question asked you to find and replace letters with some elite spelling. So we take like an E, for example, and replace it with a 3, or an A and replace it with an at. But we could only grab the first one because index of only returns the first index of that character. But what if after we replaced it, we went into a loop and we asked again for the index of the letter? Because we would have replaced or removed or done whatever to the first A and replaced it with an at, it would then return any other ats or any other A's, the index of any other A's, and then repeat that process. Wouldn't it be cool if we could replace all of the A's with a new symbol, or just cut them out, or whatever we wanted to do? Well, there is a great way to do that with a while loop. Remember, one of the features of a while loop is that when we don't know how long something's going to happen, for example, we don't know how long it's going to take the user to guess the correct password or get their password correct. We also don't know how many A's, for example, might be in any given string. So we can use that while loop construct to determine that. And the genius of this line of code that says while s index of A is greater than or equal to 0 is as soon as A is not in that string anymore, it will return a -1. And a -1 will stop the execution of the link, the while loop, which would mean it would exit that process of replacing characters. So it's really a cool way to solve that problem we talked about, where before we could just replace one, now we can replace many. And I want to show this in action here. I'm going to show this in, I know it says it's Python tutoring, but it's just a much better interface than the other one. So I'm going to use this one. Hopefully you can see that okay. And we're going to see how this code, what this code does. And I'm just for your own purposes, the lines 1 through 4 are just boilerplate. So I'm going to scroll those up. I know you can't see them now, but they're just boilerplate. So, oops. Oh shoot, yeah. So I'm going to set the string, and I know, sorry, you can't see that. We're going to set the string to apples are apples tasty without, and we're just going to do it one line at a time. And I'm just going to set those values. So I set the string to get apples are apples tasty without A's. Notice all those A's. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 A's in there, and let's get rid of all of them. And for this code, we're just removing the A's completely. And then we're going to output that original string, which here's the original string. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go through, and while this the string, which is our apples tasty without A's, has an A in it, in other words, it's not returning -1, keep running this loop. So let's run the loop and watch it in action. So we're going to get the index of S, index of the A. And that first A is at 0, so nothing changes. It is at 0. Now what's really cool is we're going to build a new string. We are going to replace the original string with a substring of 0 up to the index, which is going to be all the letters up to the first A, which in this case is nothing. And then it's going to go to give us the rest at index +1. So this is going to take nothing and then go from R to the end of the string. Let's watch how that looks. So now we have RE, apples tasty without A's. Notice how it chopped it off. Now we're going to loop again. So let's go through this loop again. Right now, this is not going to return a It's not going to be -1. It's actually going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's not at -1. Index of S at A would be that 3. Now what it's going to give me back is the characters 0 through 3, which doesn't include 3. So it's going to be RE space. Then it's going to give me the index at +1, which is going to be the index 4, which is going to be that P. So it's basically chopping off that A. Let's watch how that looks. It chopped off the A. And we're going to continue that process. We're going to chop off the tasty A. We're going to chop off the final A. And then because there are no more A's, the result is -1, and it's going to output the string with all the A's removed. Now watch how I can change this code just a little bit. I'm going to change this code just a little bit and add the @ symbol. So every time there's an A, I'm going to replace it with an @ symbol, kind of like we did in the free response question. And sorry, sometimes this takes a little bit, but we're going to visualize it, although I'll go a lot faster. So I won't torch you as much as I did last time. So let's set up our variable. Let's set up our index. Let's output the original. And now let's go into our famous loop. So we're going to find the index of that first A. We're going to add a @ where the A was. Now we're going to go through and we're going to replace the second A. And we're going to replace the third A. And then we're going to replace that final A. And then we're going to exit because we've replaced all our A's. And then we're going to output, although I should have said replaced with elite spelling instead of removed because we didn't actually remove it. But you can see how that worked. Pretty darn impressive. Combining iteration with your string dot operators can do some powerful work. And today, I'm going to give you some powerful challenges. And it looks like I'm going to give you about 20 minutes to work on this on your own. And I have two the text CS Awesome considered Google challenges. So I love that terminology of the Google challenges. What it's going to give you some help. So I encourage you to, in CS Awesome, go to this chapter, and I'm going to put it into the Meet. Go to the chapter with the assignment. In fact, I think I'll even add it to the form. Here is the form that you're going to do today. I'm going to add it to the form description, just so you have it as a resource too. So it is in there now, so it should be, unless you opened it already, it should be there and you'll be able to use it. And so the text itself gives you some nice resources with these drag. You're just rearranging the code to put it in order. It gives you lots of clues. And the first challenge, the first Google challenge they have is, imagine, pretend you're now an intern at Google, and you've been given the challenge to help Google figure out how to replace all the old books that have all these ones and I's mixed up. And when you're trying to do this work, you want to replace those ones with L's, because in the old style, 1 and L were the same character on the keyboard. So now you're going to replace the number 1 with the letter L. And you're going to go through and you're going to do that for all the stuff in a specific string you're provided, which you got to admit sounds awfully familiar to what we just did, right? So again, this was recorded if you missed it in the video, but your job is to go through, write that program, and replace the ones with the L. Again, they give you code to start with. There's the little tester that goes with it from CS Awesome. So everything is kind of provided, including hints, including help. it's pretty, there's a lot of help there, and you have my video as well. So hopefully that's a real accessible challenge for people, and that you're able to do that for sure within the 20 minutes. If you get that done, again, I'm giving more grades now to help with your grades to those free responses, and the multiple choices are kicking people's tail, and I'm trying to be more give more opportunities to pass, and more time to do that within the assigned class time. So that challenge, I hope, is accessible and meetable. But I also like to challenge the high numbers of overachievers in the class. So your first challenge is this Proficient challenge. Your next challenge, this is really, really a tough challenge. This is going to require some real thought. The challenge is to reverse a string. So take the character at position 0 and put it at the position of length -1. Then take the index 1 and return it and swap it with the character at position length -2. And swap those characters, swap them all the way through until you've completely reversed the string. It is a major challenge that would be perfect for a Google interview to be an intern. It just is a real big challenge. Now, I encourage you, if you really want to try this, to give your brain some time to try to figure it out. But if your brain can't figure it out, it's such a common computer science problem that's assigned to beginning computer science students. Feel free to Google it, and when you see the beauty of the solution, there are recursive solutions too. I mean, those are way beyond the scope of what we're learning right now, but you're welcome to use those, play with those, try those different solutions out, and see if you can solve it. That's for the advanced students who want that advanced. So shoot for the Proficient. Feel free to try for the advanced challenge today. I am asking you to do some major string work with iteration, which is super tough. This is challenging, but I hope there's enough scaffolding and material available to you, especially the CS Awesome chapter. Look familiar? That you are able to use this stuff to help you solve the problem. A lot of things available. By the way, there's also a cool fun problem that I didn't give you, where you replace little longer strings. It's actually a little harder than it looks. But if you really, really want to challenge, feel free to send me an email and brag that you replaced cats with dogs as well. So cool stuff. That is what I'm going to ask you to do for the rest of class today. I do want to be available. I'm stopping the